So this evening I have with me some panel of experts. You are going to hear from our Dean, Dr. Robert Stackman Jr., who is the Dean of the Graduate College, and he is also a professor over in the Department of Psychology. We also have Juliana Snyder. She is the Assistant Director for Test Preparation. She will go through all things testing and test preparation, best ways to get prepared. And then myself, I'm Jordan Hession. I'm the Assistant Director here for Orientation and Admissions, and I am the point of contact for prospective students. So with that, we will start with some opening remarks from our Dean. Then we'll talk about all things financial aid. We will have Juliana speak about testing and evaluation and test preparation. Then I will go through all things graduate admissions, and then we'll do your questions and answers at the very end. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to our Dean, Dr. Stackman.
Thanks very much, Jordan. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you all for attending. We look forward to just providing you some details about what graduate training is all about and how it works here at Florida Atlantic University. So, as Jordan mentioned, I'm not only am I the Dean of the Graduate College, but I'm also a professor in the College of Science. And my area of expertise is neuroscience. And so in addition to serving as the Dean, I have an active research lab on our Jupiter campus where I'm mentoring doctoral students and master's students and undergraduates. And I'd love to tell you more about that, but my role here tonight is to talk about graduate programs. So when I talk to potential students about graduate training, I often get questions about what's so different about graduate school. Why should I consider that? How is it different than what I've just completed as an undergraduate? And so if I could have the next slide, Jordan. So a couple key points that I just want to leave you with, and many of you probably are already aware, maybe you've drank the Kool-Aid, so to speak, you've decided you want to pursue that graduate training. But if you're on the fence and you're not sure, let me try to convince you a little bit more about why it's so special, right? So as a contrast, when you're working for your undergraduate degree, you're completing a variety of courses across a broad spectrum of discipline. And maybe you major in one particular area, but you do find yourself taking other courses as well to complete the requirements of your undergraduate degree. The difference with graduate training is you focus all your training on that area of particular interest. So for me, I went to graduate school for neuroscience, so I was able to take that discipline that I learned to really enjoy as an undergraduate and focus now all my training on neuroscience. So it's focused coursework and training in a particular area. Many master's programs and most doctoral programs emphasize research as well as scholarship, and that's also what sets this apart. Of course, you may have been involved in undergraduate research, but as a graduate student, it's almost expected that you'll produce new knowledge, new expertise, new research findings in that particular field of interest. So while as an undergraduate, you might have been learning about the things that have already been determined and accomplished, here you're contributing new knowledge to that discipline, and that's pretty exciting. And so in addition, as we'll hear a little bit more about tonight, during doctoral or master's training, you'll gain focused expertise in teaching and research. And I can't actually click. Okay, there we go. Thanks. So a little bit more about that emphasis on research and scholarship. As you develop your own knowledge, it's actually part of the university's mission to make sure that we broadcast that information. We enlighten the public about that information, and that's often done by students publishing their own research, presenting at conferences, giving performances, maybe displaying some new form of artistic expression and so forth. And so there's lots of opportunities there in graduate school to engage in those kinds of activities. And then one thing that you'll also hear a little bit more about tonight is if you're pursuing a doctoral degree, what is often common is receiving some assistantship along the way to pursuing that degree. So doctoral programs, most doctoral programs, when you're accepted, you'll be provided an assistantship, or you'll be eligible for applying for an assistantship. And why are those so special? Well, they come with a stipend. And a tuition waiver, which is a significant investment in your training by the university. Here at FAU, we offer a 75% waiver for health insurance for those students that are eligible on assistantship programs. And in addition, a number of our graduate students at the university here are FAU employees. And as FAU employees, one of the benefits is a tuition remission. And so that is also a benefit that many employers will offer. So if you're considering graduate training and you're thinking, I don't know if I can swing the finances, you should consider the options there that many of these programs come with that kind of benefit, that tuition waiver benefit. And one thing that's very clear is that gaining that advanced degree, that graduate training, could really be make an impact on your earning potential. And so in many cases, in many disciplines, having that advanced degree is really essential for you to move up in a particular area of interest, whether it be in science and engineering and so forth. In many cases, students will tell me, well, I just finished my undergrad degree and I'm going to wait a while because I need to work for some time before I go back to school. And what I would say is that in addition to the financial impacts that I just mentioned, the time to the degree is time that you're investing in your future. So spending the time now will lead to improvements in earning potential later. And certainly in many cases, such as the neuroscience discipline, certainly having the advanced degree improves employability, but that's not the case. Oh, that's not just the case for neuroscience, but for many disciplines as well. So I look forward to speaking with you more during the question and answer session. And you have my contact information at the top of this slide here. So if you want to reach out to me, I would encourage you to do that. So thanks very much.
Thank you, Dr. Stackman. And Dr. Stackman will hang around until the very end of the session. So if you have any specific questions for him as the Dean of the Graduate College, please feel free to send them in. So with that, we will go ahead and move over to financial aid. So the first thing that you want to do to be eligible for financial aid is to submit your FAFSA. Now, this is going to be the same application that you submitted as an undergraduate student, except this time you're submitting it as a graduate student. You want to make sure that you submit this as an independent student. That way you can maximize your financial aid refund. If you are going to be starting a program in spring 22 or summer 22, that FAFSA is available for you to fill out now. If you are going to be starting in fall 22, spring 23, or summer 23, that FAFSA is going to open on October 1st. The FAFSA opens every year on October 1st, so you want to just, if you're going to be continuing into like a doctoral degree, make sure you just put an alert on your phone. That way the day it opens, you can just get on and go ahead and submit your FAFSA so you don't have to worry about it. Our FAU priority deadline is January 1st for the following academic year for funding. And then our secondary deadline is March 1st, and I also added our school code down there. If you forget the school code, that's okay. You should just be able to select, like search for Florida Atlantic University, and it will pop up our school code. It is the same financial aid office for graduate and undergraduate students, so you don't need to differentiate where it needs to go. Just as long as you select Florida Atlantic University, it'll get to the right place. Some of the financial aid that is available. So of course, your FAFSA is what gets you qualified for your federal student loans. It could also potentially get you qualified for our FAU graduate student grant, which I'll talk a little bit more about in just a little bit. We also have numerous scholarships and fellowships that are available at FAU, and we also have some assistantship positions, which we'll go into more detail in just a little bit. And as Dr. Stackman mentioned, there is employer tuition reimbursement. So if potentially you're working full-time for a company, ask your HR department if they have employer tuition reimbursement. And if they do, we will accept that. So you would just work with your employer on, how that repayment works, whether you have to pay for the courses up front and then they reimburse you once your grades come out, or if you just send them the bill and they go ahead and take care of your tuition for you, that would be up to you and your employer. So the first thing that you're going to get offered when you submit your FAFSA is going to be a direct unsubsidized loan. So this is going to be different than what you got offered likely as an undergraduate student, in that the interest does begin accruing at the time of disbursement. So our financial aid office encourages you to at least make the interest payments every month. That way you don't graduate and have all this interest that's racked up during your graduate studies. There is no credit check. It's solely based off of the information that you put in your FAFSA, and you do have an annual limit of $20,500. So that would be for fall, spring, and summer. You have a lifetime limit of this loan for $138,500, and that includes anything that you would borrow like as an undergraduate student, anything you'd borrow for your master's degree, and then anything you'll potentially borrow for your doctoral degree. And you're probably like, oh my gosh, Jordan, $138,500 is a lot of money. Yes, it is a lot of money to carry in student loan debt, and I'm going to give you a good resource to where like you can check how much you've borrowed thus far. You would be surprised. Students can hit that $138,500 in just their undergraduate studies, especially if you're an out-of-state student. So I'll give you a website where you can check your status. If potentially you're an out-of-state student and that $20,500 is not enough per year, you are welcome to apply for a direct graduate plus loan. Now, this isn't going to be automatically awarded to you via your FAFSA. You do have to apply for it through studentloans.gov, and it is going to be based off of a credit check. There is a fixed interest rate that is slightly higher than the federal loans that you would get offered with just your FAFSA information. But if you need additional funds, this is a route that you could go. Grants. I mentioned that FAU graduate student grant. So based on your FAFSA information, you could be awarded this grant. It is purely based on financial need, and your FAFSA must be submitted in order to be eligible. As I mentioned, our priority deadline is January 1st for the following academic year, which is why we encourage you to submit it as soon as that deadline opens on October 1st. And funds are limited, so that's why we encourage you to apply and submit your FAFSA early. It's a first come, first served grant, and oftentimes it's up to $2,400 per year. This is different for graduate students. Some of you may be used to receiving a Pell Grant in your undergraduate studies. At the graduate level, you are not eligible to receive state and federal grants like the Pell Grant. So if you see that that's not being offered to you in your financial aid package, it's because graduate students are not eligible for it. Scholarships. I mentioned we have numerous scholarships, and the link to our scholarship page is there at the bottom. This website probably has at least 100 scholarships on there, if not more. It also has links to each of your individual academic colleges and some external funding resources that you could be eligible for too. You would apply for our FAU scholarships that the Financial Aid Office offers through your My FAU account, which you get access to once you're a student. And as long as you can click that scholarship application, that means it's still accepting applications, you're welcome to apply for it. Now, not all of the scholarships listed on this page are going to be specific for graduate students, but so long as it doesn't say that you must be an undergraduate student to receive it, you are welcome to apply for it. Some of these also require that your FAFSA is on file. So even if you know, like, hey, I'm getting an assistantship, I have some external funding that I'm going to be able to use, I don't need a student loan, submit your FAFSA anyway. I can't emphasize that enough. Please submit your FAFSA. You can always deny the loan that they're offering you through your financial aid package, but a lot of them will require that that is on file. So your borrowing history. So if you want to know how much you've borrowed, potentially how much interest you've racked up in your student loans, I would encourage you to go to NSLDS.ed.gov. This gives you a good snippet and screenshot of what you've borrowed and what your status of those loans are. This is also where you do like your exit counseling once you graduate, and it essentially says like, yes, I know I took out student loans, and yes, I know I do have to repay them. So that is where you could go to get your borrowing history. Bright Futures. If any of you received Bright Futures as an undergraduate student and you completed your degree in 7 semesters or fewer, you could be eligible for an additional semester of Bright Futures funding. Now, the caveat to this is that it's going to pay your tuition at the undergraduate level rate. So you would just need to pay the difference between the undergraduate and graduate level tuition. This isn't going to be something that's automatically awarded to you. So if you were a Bright Futures recipient and you graduated ahead of schedule, you want to make sure that you send an email to your financial aid counselor. That way they can look up your eligibility and see if you have any remaining funds that they can apply to your graduate program. So enrollment, you have to be enrolled at least half-time in order to receive any type of financial aid from FAU. Half-time in the fall and the spring is 4.5 to 6 credits, and we consider graduate students full-time if they're taking 9 or more credits in the fall or spring. For summer, if you're needing aid for summer, you would need to be enrolled in at least 3 credits to receive financial aid in the summer. 6 credits is what we would consider full-time in the summer. So obviously before you borrow, you want to determine exactly how much you need to borrow and determine what your affordable debt level is. Our financial aid website has a great debt management kind of subsection of their website that'll let you kind of know what to expect when borrowing, and then also it'll do like a cost of attendance calculator for you as well. So if you're out of state and you want to know what it's like to live in Boca Raton, you can, put in like, I plan on taking this many credits and my program has this many credit hours, and it'll kind of give you an estimate of what to expect in terms of fees and funds. So here is a recap of all of the resources. So you have the NSLDS.ed.gov. That is where you're going to go to check your student loan history. Studentloans.gov is where you're going to apply for that Graduate Plus loan. FAFSA.gov is where you submit your FAFSA application. Please make sure that you're accessing it through the .gov website. Like a lot of things in 2021, there are scammy websites out there that will try to make you pay to submit the FAFSA. It is a free application. It says it in the title. It's a free application for federal student aid. So make sure that you don't pay for it. Go to the .gov website. And then I also included the FAU.edu/FinAid website. That's our financial aid website. So if you want to check out any of their resources on their website, I would encourage you to go directly there. I am including the contact information for the financial aid website and their website again. So this is their general phone number. Once you're admitted to FAU, you're assigned a specific financial aid counselor who can kind of help guide you throughout your studies. But until then, you can just call the regular number, or if you go to their website, they do have a chat box that you can chat with somebody who's available that will be here in person. All right, so we're going to move into testing and test preparation. Before we do, I do want to say that the speaker for this section will be departing after her presentation. So if you have any questions regarding testing and test preparation, send them in while Juliana is speaking, and she will be happy to answer them at the very end of her presentation. If you send them afterwards, don't worry, you have some other experts here that can answer those questions for you as well. So with that, I will turn it over to Juliana.
Thank you so much, Jordan, and thank you everyone for being here. My name is Juliana Snyder. I am the Assistant Director for Test Preparation here at FAU, and test preparation is within the Testing and Evaluation Office, although we do function separately. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to be reviewing with you some pertinent information regarding what tests you might be needing and some more in-depth information. So this is our website for the testing website, the homepage. It's fau.edu/testing. And we wanted to make you aware that here at FAU, we do provide not only test preparation for some of the tests that you might be interested in, but we actually also administer the actual tests at the Boca Raton campus. Some of the tests that you might be eligible, if you're in the area and you may not be aware, some of the tests that are administered at the FAU campus is the Graduate Record Examination, or the GRE, the Law School Admissions Test, the LSAT, the Miller's Analogies Test, the Medical College Admissions Test, or the MCAT, and the Test of English as a Foreign Language, which is the TOEFL. So with COVID, there's a lot of things that have changed in the testing arena, and we're going to talk about, some of the ways that we have seen. But what has happened is a lot of the tests have moved online in order to be convenient for you, especially when the testing centers were closed. Some of the tests that you're now able to take at home are the GRE, the GMAT, TOEFL, Duolingo, and IELTS, which is another English test, and we are going to be going into detail about every single one of those tests. So let's talk about the GRE and the GMAT. Those two tests are most likely the most popular tests for those of you in this call. So the GRE is for general grad students, and the GMAT tends to be for business school. And nowadays there are many programs, especially for business school programs, that will also accept the GRE. So let's just go over them. For the GRE, right now, for you to register is $205. There are 3 sections: the writing, quantitative, and verbal. The testing time is about 4.5 hours all in, and it can be taken at the FAU campus. Now, the GMAT is for $175, and there are 4 sections for the GMAT: the writing, quantitative, integrated reasoning, and also verbal. And the testing time is also 4.5 hours all in. Now, you may be wondering, is the program that I'm applying to, is it still accepting the standardized tests? And the answer is yes. There are a lot of programs that have waived those requirements, but the ones that are on this list for FAU are the ones who still requiring it. So if you see the program that you're interested in this list, you will still need to submit a GMAT or a GRE for the program of your choice. If it's not listed in this particular list, chances are it's not required. Although certainly your application is unique and you may find that you may need to take it once you put in your application, even for programs that are not requiring as an application step. So let's talk about the GRE. So we're going to be going over some of the tests, and I will probably mention that for every single test, the test maker site does a great job about providing a lot of great information about disabilities and registration and test dates, and also some free resources. So they have usually links about prep that you can get for free and some paid resources as well. And with the GRE is no exception. So I always suggest whichever test you're taking to take advantage of the resources that are listed for you. The GRE, for instance, they have a 100-page math refresher that's really helpful, and they have like a free GRE practice test. So certainly take advantage of the resources that you are able to find on the site. The same is true for the GMAT. So there are a lot of resources on the GMAT site. The site also has a free resource if you're interested in the business school. It goes over like programs, and it has a timeline and a checklist for you. And again, it does pay off to browse the sites and take advantage of the resources. If you're one of the people that can pick and choose between the GMAT and GRE, we would absolutely recommend maybe you take a practice test, a free practice test for each, and try to see which one plays your strength the most, so you can actually take the test that you're more likely to score higher in. So let's switch gears. For those of you who may need to test your English proficiency, here are some options for you. FAU accepts TOEFL. TOEFL probably is the most popular option. It has $240 to register. There are 4 sections. All of them are really similar in this regard. There's a reading, a listening, and speaking and writing section. The testing time is about 3.5 hours, and it can also be taken here at Boca Raton FAU campus. The IELTS, it depends on the location. It actually just went up a little bit for the Fort Lauderdale location at 250. But it also has 4 sections: reading, listening, speaking, and writing, and the testing time is a little shorter at 2 hours and 45 minutes. And something new for those of you who do need English proficiency that FAU does accept is Duolingo. It's $49. It's a much shorter test, although it does also have the 4 sections of reading, listening, speaking, and writing. So let's talk a little more about details about TOEFL. So TOEFL, you may recognize the ETS, which is the same test maker as the GRE. And they offer a test that is an IBT test, and it's a really popular test, and very much like the other sites for GMAT and GRE. There are a lot of resources here for you. They do have a free practice option for you on their website as well as practice questions. You can take individual practice questions and the test. Now, the IELTS, this is another popular option that FAU accepts, and similarly, you can also take practice tests. I will say that for IELTS, they have 2 types of tests. They have the general and the academics, and for our purposes, you would be taking the academics version. And Duolingo is the newer test, and we do accept it. It's actually accepted in over 3,000 institutions now. You can go on their website. They do have practice questions and practice tests for you once you register. And I know that for the institutions that accept them, this may be a good option for you, especially if you're international and maybe you have to convert to dollar from your currency. So this is our test preparation website. So I know we were talking about the actual tests right now, and there are a lot of resources to each of those tests. What I will say to you, I've been in test preparation for many years, is that if you have to take it, or if you decide to take one of those tests, we absolutely encourage you to actually take advantage and prep for them. They are a really big step in your application. If you have to take it, or if you decide to take it as a complement, maybe it's not a requirement, but maybe you want to make your application stronger. Maybe you have been out of school for a while, you can go back and change your GPA. It's always a good idea to prep in order to get the highest score possible. And encourage you also to take advantage of all the practice you can have your hands on. If you need more professional assistance with FAU, provide affordable prep for some of the courses, and here they are. We have GRE, LSAT, MCAT, we have GK for teachers, as well as GMAT, and also SAT and ACT for undergraduate students. So if you have any questions, our website is listed right there, fau.edu/testprep. And again, this is a recap that we are just posting it for you. So if you need to take a look into any of those tests a little more in depth, all those websites are there for you, for the GRE.org, MBA.com, TOEFL.org, IELTSindicator.com, and then English.duolingo.com. And here is my direct information. So I'm Juliana Snyder. I'm listed for you there. And also Amy Kirkin is listed as well, and you can get a hold of both of us if you have any questions. And thank you so much for your time, and congratulations on being here today, and I wish you the best of luck with your applications. I'll be here for a while until I need to leave, but thank you so much.
So thank you so much for being here this evening, and we will see you next month.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, so now we're going to go into all things graduate admissions and graduate college. So first, the Graduate College is a service college, and we are dedicated to supporting your success as a student. So we do this by offering professional development workshops. We offer like thesis dissertation workshops. We partner with the Career Center, Counseling and Wellness to offer programs and services that will support you as graduate students. We are here for you from this first point of contact of our information session all the way to the point where you earn your degree and are walking across that stage. You'll actually get to shake hands with Dean Stackman as you graduate, or if you're going to be getting a doctoral degree, he will help hood you on graduation day. So we are there with you from point A to the very end and that finish line. Our graduate programs. So we do have a lot of programs here at FAU, and these numbers don't even represent all the concentrations that you can do within a program. These are just our core programs. So chances are, if you're looking for something, we will have that to offer to you. And if you're looking on our website and you're thinking that you're not seeing exactly what you're looking for, please feel free to reach out to me. My contact information will be at the very end, and I can let you know if we have something similar. Maybe it's just named something different here at FAU, or if we have a similar program that might be of interest. We also do have a medical school as well, and if you're interested in the medical school, I would direct you over to the medical school admissions. So financial support. So we went over a lot of the loans, the graduate grant, and Bright Futures. So here I really want to focus on our graduate college fellowships and assistantships. So with fellowships, we offer 5 internal FAU fellowships. We accept applications every single spring semester. They're open at the beginning of spring, and then we close them at the end of spring. And you're applying for funding for the following academic year, fall and spring. Some of these fellowships you can apply as a newly admitted student, have taken your coursework at FAU, but some of them will require that you complete credits or have a graduate GPA in order to apply for them. We leave the listings and all of the requirements on our website year-round. So if you want to take a look at our website and see kind of what's required to be eligible for some of these fellowships, I would encourage you to do that. The best thing that you can do when you're looking for funding is to look early. I know at FAU we leave everything on our website year-round, and we just update the deadlines as we go. So if you're looking for anything, take a look. And there's also numerous external scholarship search engines and grants and funding that you can find for like research projects or just things to enhance maybe your package that you're getting here at FAU as well. So if you want any of those external resources or scholarship search engines, please send me an email. I'm happy to I have a template of all of the external funding that is out there. So there's also dissertation year awards. There's the NSF, which is the National Science Foundation Graduate Research Scholarship. And then there's also the McKnight Doctoral Fellowship for those of you that are looking at doctoral programs. So we do have all of this plus more listed on our website, and I would tell you to take a look. Assistantships. So assistantships are a hot commodity here at FAU. We have 3 different types of assistantships. All of these positions require 20 hours per week of work, and in exchange, you're offered a tuition waiver and a stipend for your time worked. So a graduate assistant position would be working in an office around campus, helping them with their day-to-day functions. We have a graduate assistant in the graduate college, and he helps us with prospective student advising. He helps us with customer service at the front desk. He does campus tours for us. He helps us do our orientation events and open houses. So it would vary from office to office, but it would be something outside of your academic area. There's also a teaching assistant position, which you would be teaching undergraduate level courses within your graduate discipline. So hopefully when you're choosing your graduate program, it's not something that's in a completely different field than what your undergrad is in, so that you have a good foundation so you could start teaching some undergraduate courses. There's also the opportunity for a research assistant position, and that again would be doing research within your graduate program, oftentimes working alongside your faculty mentor. For teaching and research positions, I cannot emphasize enough how you should reach out to the program office and the faculty within that program to learn more about opportunities. They are ultimately going to be the ones that will offer you an assistant position, or they will likely be your supervisor or mentor throughout your program. So don't be intimidated when reaching out to graduate faculty. I know it kind of sounds like an intimidating thing, but I promise you it's not, and I think Dean Stackman would echo that. Reach out to faculty. They want to speak with you. Just like you are looking for the best fit graduate program for you, they're also looking for the best fit students for their research labs and teaching positions too. So make sure that you reach out to them with any questions and ask about opportunities. So programs, how to find our programs, what we offer, contact information, and whatnot. So hopefully you all have been to our website, you've signed up and got the link to be here. So I'm thinking you've been there at least once. To find all of our programs, you would go to fau.edu/graduate, and then you would click there at the top where it says programs. Once you click on programs, it opens up a comprehensive list of all of our graduate programs. You will see the name of the program on the left-hand side, and then you will see the level of degree offered in that program on the right-hand side. If you click on the level of degree next to your program of interest, it will open up a program sheet. Now, this is going to kind of be your how-to guide on what to submit with your application and when. Each of the program sheets are going to include application deadlines, differentiated between domestic and international students. It's going to be the admissions requirements, again, differentiated between domestic and international students. It's going to give you the contact information for the program office, their name, their office location on campus, phone number, and email address. And then also we give you a link to that particular program's website where you can find more information. It's also going to inform you of any of the specializations or concentrations, research areas that you can do within that program. So anything that you need to be, anything that is listed there at the bottom of admissions requirements will need to be submitted with your application by the deadline date in order to be considered. And you really want to make sure that you're referencing the program sheet before you apply, because our applications are set to close on that deadline date. So you're not going to be able to apply for a closed program. So you really want to make sure that you're paying attention to the deadlines, and if you're really adamant about starting a program in a certain semester, to make sure that you just submit your application by that deadline. So some pathways to graduate education. Some of you on this call may be current FAU undergraduate students that are looking to continue your programs with us. If you are a current undergraduate student, I hope that you've heard about our combined degree programs, or our BS to MS programs, that allow you to begin taking graduate level coursework as an undergraduate student, and those graduate courses will count towards both your bachelor's and your master's degree. So think about it as dual enrollment at the college level. The BS to MS programs are not available in every program, but we do have a lot of programs that are either developing combined programs or already have a combined program. Anything in the College of Engineering and Computer Science has a combined degree. A lot of our programs in the College of Science have combined degrees. If you're attending the Honors College, all of the Honors College majors have an associated combined degree as well. And then we do have a handful of liberal arts programs that have combined degrees too. If you would like more information on the BS to MS programs, I will provide my contact info at the end, and I'd be happy to have an initial discussion with you and talk more about the process. You can also accelerate your track to graduate school by taking summer courses. A lot of students understandably take summer semesters off to kind of refresh and get back into that academic mindset before taking on a full load again in the fall. We would recommend that you take summer courses because that will just accelerate your track to graduation and will get you to your ultimate long-term goal just a little bit quicker. We also have some other pathways. So if you're an international student that potentially is having you have all the academic requirements for the program, but you're having a hard time meeting the English proficiency score requirements that we have for the university, you could enroll through our Intensive English Institute. Should you complete the requirements through Intensive English Institute, we have a bridge program that then will take you into your graduate program here at FAU. And that bridge program includes you taking academic English courses as well as taking courses within your graduate program so that you can kind of get a jump start on the requirements of the graduate degree. And then we have our state college articulation agreement. So for those of you that potentially are attending one of our local South Florida state colleges, so Miami-Dade, Broward College, Indian River, Palm Beach State, those bachelor's degrees feed seamlessly into our master's degree programs. So if you are a state college student and you just want some more information about what that transition looks like, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. So graduate student success. So I want to show you, I'm a big fan of visuals, and so I want to show you potentially what like your future could look like. So the photo there on the left are our inaugural 3-minute thesis winners. And 3-minute thesis is an opportunity for you to get on a stage in front of your peers, mentors, your friends, your family, other faculty around FAU, the Boca Raton community, and it allows you to present your research in 3 minutes or less in ways that maybe a non-neuroscientist would understand your research. I have a hard time understanding what Dean Stackman does, but I'm sure if he put together a 3-minute elevator pitch, I would understand it a little better. And then the photo there on the right is a recent doctoral grad. So think about yourself on graduation day in that photo, surrounded by all of your loved ones and your faculty mentors, receiving your diploma and finally walking across the stage. So a little bit about our enrollment. So this is from last fall, and last fall we had just under 31,000 students here at FAU. Now that's good news. While we're like a medium-sized university in the state of Florida, we still do have a relatively small graduate student population. We have just over 5,000 graduate students at FAU, which really allows that one-on-one connection and mentorship between your professors and faculty members and other students in your courses as well. I find that FAU graduate students come from all walks of life with all sorts of different experience and skills, so it gives you a really well-rounded opportunity to learn from each other and get that one-on-one with your faculty. So a little bit about our admissions from last year. So we had just over 2,500 students apply for admission at FAU, and we ultimately offered seats to about 1,600 students, and then had just under 1,300 new students enroll with us last year. So for the numbers that aren't here, you potentially could receive like a no decision or an incomplete. Now, what that means is you either no decision, so you didn't submit all of the material required for the department to make a decision. So whether that be GRE or GMAT test scores, if they're not waiving that requirement, or potentially like your letter of recommendation didn't come in by the deadline, they would assign a no decision. And that just means you're not denied, but they're just giving you a little extra time to complete the requirements for them to make an admissions decision on your application. And then incomplete students are students who didn't submit transcripts or required English proficiency exam scores. So make sure that you're submitting your official transcripts. If you're applying for a master's degree, that means we need your bachelor's degree transcript, or at least a transcript that shows that you have coursework in progress. And then if you're applying for a doctoral program that requires a graduate degree before going into that program, we would need both your bachelor's and your master's degree transcript in order to review your application. So our application process. So fall 21 admissions is now closed. We're in our first week of classes right now. So the next opportunity you would have to join our graduate programs would be in spring of 2022. Our applications have moved over to a CAS system. So you would go to our website, fau.edu/graduate, and then you would click the link for the particular CAS for where you're applying. So any engineering programs will be in engineering CAS, and then our other programs, with the exception of our College of Business, would be in grad CAS. If you are in a College of Business program, we're going to have a link to their application on our website on the same page as well. So you'll go to the respective portal, you'll start entering in all of your information. It's going to ask, your personal information, your address, where you've attended school. It's going to ask you to upload a resume, and that's where you'll also be uploading all of your supplemental material as well. Once you fill out the entire application and submit it, you then need to pay the application fee. Depending on which system that you submit in will determine your cost. And then the next thing after you submit your application and pay your fee would be to send us your transcripts. So we must receive official transcripts from any previously attended institution. That includes, like, if you did, your AA at one school and then transferred into a larger university, we would need both your AA transcript and your bachelor's degree transcript. So you will submit your official domestic transcripts and NACES evaluations directly to the CAS application or system in which you're applying. And then if you're an FAU student or an alumni, you do not need to submit transcripts. We'll be able to pull all of your academic records from our internal system. The CAS application is going to give you a button to order your transcripts, but if you're an FAU student or alumni, you do not need to order your transcripts. So please don't spend the money to send them to us. We do not need them. If you are an international applicant or a student who attended school outside the United States, and you would like an internal evaluation, we are happy to do that for you. You just need to submit your official transcripts. And if that transcript is not in English already, we will also need an official translation, and you'll submit that directly to the Graduate College office, and we'll go ahead and conduct an internal evaluation, and then we'll attach it to your application once it's complete. If you are applying to a program that is still requiring the GRE or the GMAT, you will submit those official test scores directly to the Graduate College, and as well as if you need to take an English proficiency exam, such as if you're taking IELTS or Duolingo, those scores will also come directly to the Graduate College. If you opt to take the TOEFL, those scores would go directly to the CAS system in which you're applying. And then all of your supplemental material is going to be uploaded in your online application. So when you start your application, you sit down to complete it, you'll want to have, your personal statement ready. We require all students to submit a resume. So you'll want to have your resume or your CV ready to be uploaded into the application. You also potentially may need a portfolio or a writing sample. Those are all things that you would reference from the program sheet and have ready when you're ready to apply. Letters of recommendation will also be inputted into your application. That doesn't mean you're physically uploading that letter of recommendation. What it's going to ask you to do is just insert the name and the email address of your recommenders, and then it'll send them an email with a link to complete the recommendation. So right now our spring 22 applications are open, and then on September 9th, our summer 2022 and fall 2022 applications will open. So if you're applying for either of those terms, just stay posted to our website. We'll update the link for when those applications open. And again, that will be September 9th. All right, so here are my top tips. Number one, know your deadlines. So as I mentioned, our application is set up to close at the application deadline unless it's a program that has like rolling admissions. So check out your program sheet, make sure you know your deadline, and make sure that you're submitting your applications by your deadlines. You don't want to miss the deadline and then delay your entry into a graduate program if you're motivated to start now. Number two, complete your FAFSA. So even if you're thinking, okay, I don't need a student loan, I'm going to have enough funding, I'm getting an assistantship position, I don't want to submit my FAFSA, I would discourage that. I would really encourage you to submit your FAFSA just so you could maximize your financial aid. So whether that be through an internal FAU scholarship or fellowship, or even through the FAU graduate student grant. So just get in the habit of submitting your FAFSA October 1st every year. Search for your fellowship, scholarship, and awards early. So we have all of our listings up year round. I know the financial aid office leaves their listings up year round. And then there are tons of scholarship search engines, and I would be happy to share those with you. Those search engines allow you to kind of build a profile, and then based off of your profile, it will be automatically sending you scholarships. I signed up for a search engine when I was an undergrad and a graduate student, and I tell you, I probably got no less than like 5 emails a day with scholarships that like fit my profile. So make sure that you sign up for some of those external search engines. Number 4, take the GRE and GMAT. If your program is not waiving this requirement at this time, they are going to be expecting those test scores in order to review your application. So make sure that you register for the exam and take it with enough time for your scores to get there before the application deadline. So it will take about 2 weeks for us to get your test scores after you take the exam. So you want to kind of count that into your timeline because test scores will also need to be in by your deadline. Number 5, apply early. So I know I see a question here, like when will the summer applications be open? September 9th. So if you're ready to apply for summer or fall, they're going to be open September 9th. We typically will open our applications a year before that next available semester. So if you're looking for spring 23, those applications will open in January of 2022. Number 6, make sure to submit all of your application materials. Our new application makes it really easy for you to do this. It won't let you submit it without uploading everything into your application. So just make sure you reference the program sheet and have everything ready when you're getting ready to sit down and submit your application. Number 7, know your faculty and staff at the department level. And I really think this is like one of the best tips that I can give you is reaching out to the faculty and staff. No one knows their graduate program like the faculty that are teaching within that program. They are also going to be the ones that are offering you an assistantship position, whether that be teaching or conducting research. So reach out to them. I promise you it's not as intimidating as it sounds. And if you're hitting a wall when you're trying to reach out, please let me know. I'm happy to facilitate a connection with either their like department secretary or that faculty member themselves. So just let me know how I can help and support you. And then lastly, reach out to the graduate college with any questions that you have. Like I said, I'm the point of contact for prospective students. So if you have anything that you need, please let me know. We could schedule like a one-on-one appointment and we can go over your specific scenario and maybe the specific program that you're looking into. I'd be happy to schedule a customized campus tour for you. If you've never been to campus, I can set that up for you. And we can do like an in-person appointment too. If you'd rather come to campus and kind of get your feet on the ground and see our location and what we're all about, we'd be happy to host you here as well. So with that, I'm going to put my contact information up on the screen. I also have provided Juliana's contact information again, and then we also have the financial aid contact information as well. So have a great evening, everybody, and have a great weekend.
Thank you all and have a nice weekend and rest of the week.
Thanks, Jordan. Thanks, everyone.